Hiya folks, and welcome back to Sevtech Ages. I'm just trying out some thatch, because I thought we'd slow down for a bit this episode. Not so much rush straight into things like I have been doing over the last few episodes. What I would like to do is do a little bit of building. Because we've just achieved horsepower, I would like to build a stables to keep some horses in. And as far as I know, we've got three mechanical devices that require horses. We have the grindstone, the horse chopping block, and the horse press. And then I've, over here, planned out a stables with 4 spaces. Why 4 spaces? One's for our grinding horse, one's for our press horse, one's for our chopping block horse, and one's our riding horse. So that'll be pretty cool. Gosh, I always start these episodes just as the sun's going down. It's so ridiculous. It's the worst habit ever. I'll return. Now, the thing about creating a stables at this early stage in our primitive life is that we shouldn't build our stables too fancy, right? We're not carpentry masters or anything right now. We've kind of just figured out thatching and how to build a sheet out of an animal skin and that sort of thing. So we probably want to stick to the basics like logs and thatch and maybe some sticks to hold that thatch up. I swear I have thatch somewhere. Here it is. Here's all my thatch. Okay. So the first things first is I don't actually have that many logs, so I should collect some. Alright, I think we have enough to get started here. I also realise, again, we aren't... I might grab this actually, because of what I'm about to say. We aren't carpenters. We are building for survival. We're building a structure that just works kind of thing, rather than anything in particularly special. So I have kind of grabbed a selection of wood here. That being that maple, some oak, and some olive wood, which all grow around here. I'm reluctant to use amaranth because I hate it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not me. But the idea is, right, we're just sticking up these trees we've knocked down directly, cut them to size, and stuck them in the ground so that we can have some shelter for our horses. So let me put these posters up. Alright, so we have the posts up. That's nice. So you can see that the horses themselves will have a 3x5 area to stand around in, and I think that's going to be pretty sweet. So the question is, how do you hem a horse in if you're not a carpenter? Well, I think we are actually going to have to go and... Really? We got no kind of fence that we can do? Not right yet. But maybe we have some sort of wall? We do. We could use some cobble wall. That might make a lot of sense. Stacking some rocks up so the horses can't jump out. Yeah, that might be the way to do it. Okay, let's grab ourselves some cobblestone and create some cobblestone wall. I've got some cobblestone. So again, we're not masons either, so what I'm wondering is if we make some walls out of different materials here. I've grabbed some diorite. Diorite's usually ugly, but that may be, you know, an intentional aesthetic choice in this little stable build. Give me that. We've also got some green schist, which we got way back in the start of building our little cave here. Our cave is green schist for the most part. Yeah. No, is that not how you make green schist wall? Oh, we can't make green schist wall. Alright. That was just me rapidly tapping the R button, by the way. to see if I could get a recipe out of that thing. Also got this. When a rock broke. I don't know what that is. I'm tempted to keep it in my inventory just in case. I think I might try and find some andesite or something to go along with this. I'd like multiple types if possible. Yeah, I don't seem to be able to make any other kind here. I could make some stone wool, but I think that's a little too advanced for what we're going for. So if we did something like knock a wall out here and there, put some diorite in, a couple of gaps, put this there, and then, you know, again, that whole mixing things up makes things just that little bit more primitive in appearance. Basically, where primitive means doesn't know what they're doing. We don't have any gates. Do we have anything to act as a gate? Because I was thinking, right, of sticking a boulder in the way of the thing, and we would simulate rolling it out of the way to get our horse out. But I'm wondering if there is something better than that we could manage to figure out here. Come on, J.I., scream something at me. Would love it. Fish trap. Probably not ideal. Because we can't just use a block either. Like that piece of cobble I just put down. Because obviously the horses can just get over that. That's why we're using walls. Because of the whole they are higher than they look thing. We have access to quite a bit, but I'm not seeing anything particularly impressive here. We may just have to use a piece of wall. For now, that is. Doesn't have to be forever. As soon as we get some sort of gate, we could start using that. So why don't we just put you there? I'm going to get the rest of this wall built. Alright, we've got the walls on. Now we just need a roof, and that's why I have all this thatch in my inventory. We need to make a bunch of that. Because if we make that, I think I might need more thatch actually. We should be able to run it right across the top. I'm going to need a lift here, please, olive wood. Oh, now I've done it. There we go. Okay. I thought that might happen. Okay, so there was a reason why. You'll remember our primitive hut we found way in the beginning. It had those supporting the thatch. That's because thatch has its own gravity rules where if it goes a certain distance unsupported, it will just fall away. So I'm going to grab these. I don't know why I'm grabbing these, because I don't like that colour. I don't want to use the acacia ones. Can we make slats even right now? We can. And again, we may make them out of multiple kinds if we can. Acacia. I don't think we can get olive ones though. No. So it might just all be oak for now. Unless I want to go on a grand journey for some other wood types. Because there ain't... well, there's birch. There is birch. Hello, birch. You are going to become slats. Alright, you don't get an incredible amount of slats per craft. this started off as 27 planks of wood, so there may be some what you call conservative use of them, wherein we will... It's very odd. I suppose that makes sense in some form. Just to get that one going the right way. We'll bring you across. I'll open up all these stables actually, so I can freely walk between them. 1, 2, 3. Alright. 3. And birch. And birch and oak and birch. This is the way we sing our song. And then birch, and then birch, and then oak, and then oak. And then birch. No, not like that, game. Then oak, and then oak. So, I don't think that's going to work for the other direction, but it should work for this direction. If we try going across like this, does, strangely enough. Incredible. Look at that. We now have supported thatch. I think something I would want to do, though, to make sure that it looks right, is that we do something like that across each of these. Right? And then we may need to make more anyway. Oh, well, we're going to need to make more anyway. But we may need to make more in order to have a second row, because it kind of looks a bit weird having an offset like that, even though we may not be crazy good carpenters at this primitive stage of our lives. We should at least try to make things look good. So that could be the ideal. Alright, I'm going to finish this baby off, and I will be back. Alright, I am back. It's actually the next day here, but I did end up finishing the stables, sort of. It's not quite complete. I wanted to use more of this dried mud that's here, but I stole this from the little primitive hut that was out here. But we can't actually make it right now. If I look up mud, look up dried mud, the only way we can make it is by putting wet mud in a clay kiln, but we can't actually get wet mud. It says here, harvest wet farmland, place in world to dry. But if I try and do that, which I tried experimenting over here, it's not giving me the drops required. If I harvest that, it just gives me plain old dirt. Alternatively, you can get mud from mud that's in the world, like that over there, but that mud's not going to ever dry out, because it needs to be placed away from other mud, and I think this is like in-world version of the mud. But if we break this, we get mud clumps, but the recipe for turning that into a block of wet mud is hidden from us. So that's some weird technological-ish, because we can have horse-powered stuff, but we can't have mud bricks. So, taking a look at it, I've made it kind of rough on the top with some extra thatch and stuff to make it just look like it's been piled on top. Got more slats in here, randomly placed, and you've seen the rest. I've also shoveled out each of these for the thing. So we need to actually retrieve more horsies. Our first horsey, that's right, I was making bone meal. Bone meal as part of that experiment, in fact. Something else popped out. No? Alright. I heard a pop, but there was nothing in there. So we're going to lead this horsey into its stable. We don't necessarily have to, You can't get in here, can you? Does the gap have to be too wide? Interesting. I did not know that. Ah, you won't let me tie it to that, though. So give me that lead. I'm sure you can ride out of here. Oh well. We'll see. We'll leave that open for now as a test. We've got another horse over here, which we will retrieve. I'm going to get all 4 horses. I was going to make 4 leads, hoping that I could tie them to the cobblestone walls. But apparently not. Apparently it has to be a wooden fence. So much for knowing vanilla behavior, huh? But I'm going to lead this horse into here. Unfortunately, I am not leading it to water, but shh. Quality comedy on this channel. Sorry. Didn't mean to try and tame you, horse. Don't actually have a saddle for you. There are plenty of horses around here. And I think just to kind of finish off this episode, what we'll do is once I have all 4 horses, which I'll get the last 2 on my own, is we will prep each area for each tool. So the chopping block, the press, and we'll move the grinder as well. Now, you might be thinking, why are you building a stables and putting the horses in the stables when you can just leave the horse attached to the machine in general? Well, I guess you could call it a little bit of role-playing. That's a really big bear, by the way. It is an excessively huge bear. It is taller than the actual stables itself. But it's dead. And drops invisible bear claws. Darko, you should get onto that. What was I saying? Oh, a little bit of role-playing. Just because it makes it more interesting, in my opinion, to play like that. So we'll be taking the horses as we need them to the tools and putting them back once we're done with the tools. We don't have to do that at all, but I want to. We'll also create a saddle for one of the horses, because one of them will be our riding horse. And you look like a good riding horse. Is that someone who knows horse patterns? What pattern is this? Is this Palomino? No, because Palomino's red with white spots, right? I don't know. What's the... Yeah, is that Palomino? That's not red, that's tan. I don't know. I don't know horse pattern names. They all have names, all of them. But we're going to have 4 horses. 4 horses. And we may, in fact, need to close these after all. Because I'm wondering if zombies will wander in and try and kill them, or wild horses. Wild horses? Wild dogs. There was some good timing there, lag. Right. So, since we're going to be moving this, I said I was going to get all 4 off camera. Never ended up doing that. I will clean up these, however. I'll be back once I have the machines. And that should do it, although I just made a mistake. Whoops. Also didn't mean to dig that one block up. So multiple mistakes. I also died a 5th time. I'm keeping all the compasses to know how many times I've died so far. Wild dogs, as usual. It was wild dogs for number 4 as well. I believe I got that one off camera though. Or rather didn't mention it until now. So yeah, we have 3 devices for horse stuff here. We also have 3 leads left over, which was actually just a lucky accident. But for example, if we wanted to do wood chopping, we'd take our friend here, and we'd hook them up to the wood chopping device. And then we'd stick the wood on the wood chopping device. Now we'll probably need to use whoppers in order to make this functional, and you can see how slow it is. But the fact of the matter is that this can be done over time while we're off doing something else, right? So that is beneficial to us. I wonder where the wood I just made was. Or is it deleting it? Or does it take multiple strikes to make one? This is probably not the greatest horse in the world to be using for this operation. Here we go. It has completed its work. Although, I have too many things in my inventory. Ah, we get the full 4 wood out of it though, so that's nice. Here you go, you can chop some more wood. So I'm going to leave it there for this episode. I'm going to let this thing do its work, and when you come back I'll probably have some wooden hoppers put together to collect the stuff that comes out of these, and I will see you then. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.